So I decided to do this as a double review, not because I don't have much to say about one or the other, but because I've done like 3 other reviews this week. This will be my 4th one. Then I have another one I plan on doing this weekend. So this just saves on time. Polite Society is about martial artist in training Rhea, who believes she must save her older sister Lena from her impending marriage. I've gotten the trailer for this movie a number of times, but I never really thought much of it. But it didn't take long for me to start really enjoying this movie. It really does feel like a love letter to some old school kung fu movies, especially ones with like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. Our main lead Rhea is a lot of fun and she is really likable. She has a great relationship with her sister, and it was nice when she would be looking out for her, whether it be with her new boyfriend or when she's given up on her dream. It's a really sweet relationship. With Rhea's passion being that she wants to become a stunt woman, there is a lot of great stunt choreography and all the fight scenes are really enjoyable. I do love how every time a fight does start, it has a little homage to Street Fighter in a way. I did find it funny at one point when the 2 sisters break out into a fight, they're destroying the house in the process, and all their parents can say is, "Girls, just make sure you clean up afterwards," even though one of them just got thrown through a door. This is also the second movie out this weekend that has chapter cards pop up throughout the movie. And just to throw it out there, I am overjoyed to see that my Sisu review is doing pretty good. There's also some amazing costume design, and it really did move by at a fast pace for me. And I'll be honest, there would be points where I thought I knew where this was going, but I never did guess where this movie eventually does go. And I will say this would be the creepiest movie of the year if the villain was a dude. For the couple problems I do have, I did think the movie was funny, but it could have been so much funnier. I also don't believe one bit that Rhea's parents would be so okay with one of their daughters getting married to a guy she hasn't even been with for a month. I feel like that would raise a lot of red flags. But I did think Polite Society was a lot of fun. I'm not saying you need to rush out to see it, but I do recommend it. It is really enjoyable. And I'm going to give it a B. Funny story, I mentioned a couple times I work in a movie theater. We did have this poster up for the movie, but we did not get the movie, so I had to go to another theater to see it. And this theater has the posters displayed outside the theater that movie is showing in. When I got out of this movie, I didn't realize there was other people on this poster. I just thought it was these 2. Okay, now that we're done with that, we need to talk about Beau is Afraid. So I've been off my poster game a bit recently because I haven't gotten like the posters for the movies I'm reviewing. I also couldn't get one for Beau is Afraid because the theater I work at did not get any posters at all or this movie whatsoever. But look what I got a mini poster for. This would have been useful like 24 hours ago. Beau is Afraid is the newest film from director Ari Aster and stars Joaquin Phoenix as Beau, an anxiety-ridden man who must confront his darkest fears as he embarks on an epic and insane journey to his mother's funeral after her sudden death. Right off the bat, the acting from Joaquin Phoenix as Beau is really damn good. When this movie starts, you immediately can see why he has such bad anxiety. It feels like everything and everyone is just out to get him. He'll be minding his own business, but then someone will charge at him wanting to attack him. You do start to question whether this is real, or if we're just seeing this all from his point of view. You sometimes really do feel the pressure he's under. At the time I'm recording this, I've actually never seen Hereditary or Midsommar. So this was my introduction to Ari Aster, and I thought he did a really good job with his directing. It's also got some really weird imagery that you sometimes get lost in, the cinematography is great, and it's got some cool set designs. It was also really great to see Nathan Lane back in something, and he does have some pretty funny bits in the movie. But after the movie was over and I left the theater, this was basically my reaction. I think it was around the point where Beau runs into the woods and comes across a group that's putting on a play. That is when the movie completely lost me from there on out. From that point on, scenes started to drag, go nowhere, and had absolutely no reason to be in the movie except to be weird and absurd. I really liked the first half of this movie, but really did not like the last half, to the point where I almost hated this movie. I'm not even kidding, that shit with the play goes on for like 20-25 minutes, and it has not one thing to do with the rest of the movie at all. The sets in this scene look really cool, but that's it. It was also during this scene that I decided to check my watch. Now when it comes to seeing 3-hour movies, I try not to do that whatsoever, because every time I do it, it'd be like, oh, it's only 90 minutes through. But this scene almost convinced me that this was about over. I then sadly decided to look down at my watch and saw this movie got an hour and 15 minutes left. And you want to know one thing that really did not help at all? Around this point is when people really started to talk like this a lot, where they would freeze after every other word. It got annoying. It really feels like A24 gave Ari Aster a shit ton of money and told him to go crazy, and he took that way too freaking seriously. It also seems like they really want to recreate the magic and originality of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which this movie thinks it is, but it 100% is not. I also just did not find it that funny, even in the first half. Nathan Lane got a few chuckles out of me, but that's about it. They were advertising movies that looked much funnier before this started. I have been seeing a lot of people compare this to Damien Chazelle's recent movie Babylon, where you've got a young new director who's put out some hits, and the studio gave him a lot of money to let him do whatever the hell he wants. But here's the thing with Babylon. It had a story that flowed better, made sense, most of the scenes went as long as they needed to, it was much funnier in parts, and it didn't need to be 3 hours long, but I never felt the runtime in that. And if you can't tell, I freaking loved Babylon. I think I liked it for every reason critics hated it. Which, speaking of runtimes, that's another thing. This has no fucking reason to be 3 hours long! The last 90 minutes of this movie could have been contained to like 40 minutes, and this could have been so much better. What? I know. Now, you know what? I decided. I'm gonna spoil the ending of this movie. Or, I say ending, but I mean the last hour. Yeah, the last hour is the ending of the movie. So if you really want to see this movie, just skip to this point in the video. Hopefully this time I got the right time, because recently I've been editing parts out of my videos, and then having a point where I'm like, oh yeah, go to this point, but then I'm like, oh, that's not right anymore. No, this is the right time. Go to this time if you don't want to hear anything about Beau is Afraid. So after that long, dumbass stage play scene, Beau eventually makes it to his mom's house, where the funeral is being held, or was being held. It's already over by the time he gets there. And then for maybe a good 5-10 minutes, I have no idea, he's just walking around the house looking at stuff. That is it. Then after his 5-10 minute walk around the house, someone shows up, and it's an old childhood friend of his that apparently worked for his mom. And this character was in the movie earlier, by the way. They talk for a minute, exactly like this. Eventually they go upstairs and fuck in Beau's mom's bed, and surprisingly, you see Joaquin Phoenix's nuts a lot in this movie. The woman he's banging eventually goes stiff for some reason, and guess what? The mom was alive the whole time. I think most people kind of guessed that. The mom is pissed off about a lot of things. Her and Beau talk for a good long-ass time, I don't even know. Eventually, this leads to her locking Beau upstairs in the attic. And you want to know what's upstairs in the attic? A penis monster. I know I should have a different reaction to a penis monster in a movie. I should be more like, holy shit, there's a fucking penis monster in this movie. But at this point in the movie, I was just like, oh wow. Penis monster. Wrap the fuck up! Then this guy that lived with Nathan Lane's character that was chasing Beau through the movie shows up and starts stabbing the giant penis monster. Again, you made me not give a fuck that there's a fucking penis monster in your movie. Beau then gets out of the attic, and then he strangles his mom, and then kills her, I think, maybe, I don't know. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, after Beau escapes the attic, the mom starts screaming at him, "That is your father," and she means the penis monster. Don't ask. He then runs off, finds a boat, goes away in it. This eventually leads him to this, like, dome arena place where this giant court case is going on between him and his mom. And his mom's lawyer is Richard Kind. Which Big Mouth has forever ruined Richard Kind for me, because every time I hear his voice now, all I can think of is Andrew's dad. Which I guess this movie has two things in common with Big Mouth. Penis monsters and Richard Kind. They have this court case, Beau's lawyer is killed. Oh yeah, he has a lawyer, by the way. Oh, what happened after that? Oh! The boat's motor is about to blow up. Beau's feet are glued to the bottom of this boat. The boat flips over. Beau drowns. Directed by Ari Aster. Fucking yay. They hold on the shot of the boat for the entirety of the end credits. And I just wasted 3 hours of my life that I'll never get back. Actually, do you guys realize this sounds kind of familiar? A movie where Joaquin Phoenix goes to therapy, has mother issues, and the world around him is shit? God. Why does that sound so fucking familiar? Look, this movie's just not all that good. If somebody was to come up to me and tell me, you just don't get it, I will immediately tell them, hey, shut the fuck up. But for the love of God, I personally cannot recommend this movie. Not even for the good half. But if you really like this director, or you're really interested in seeing this movie, all I can say is, proceed with caution. If you love this movie, congrats. If you're in the same boat as me, I'm with you all the way. And I really struggled on what I should grade this. It's not getting anything like a B. It's not like D bad. So, I don't want to give it a C plus for the good half because that second half is just so fucking bad. Fuck it. Let's go with a C. You know what I feel the most bad for? Anyone who is dragged into seeing this movie and has no idea what it is. If you're that person, I'm deeply sorry. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, turn on the notification bell, and I'll try to do Peter Pan and Wendy this weekend. But until then, see ya.